Hello, guests and ghouls, and welcome to Quest Friends Hereafter, an improvised fiction podcast using the role-playing game Under the Neighborhood. I am Kyle, he, him, and today I, my 4 best friends, and some dice are going to tell you a story about a killer party in the afterworld.
Hello, I am Ari, she, her, and I play Aurelio Enrique Hueso Kanaka, or also known as Kike, he, him, and he is the opportunist who adapts and makes copies.
I think it might be creates copies, but it's semantics.
And creates copies. I need to actually go and get.
They come from him in some way.
Yeah, I'm frantically looking for the book right now.
I'm Emily, they, them, and I play Irene Hawthorne, the Necromon trainer who overextends and doesn't have a second descriptor. She, her.
Hello, I am Tom. My pronouns are he, him, and I am playing Hilda Mishkiewicz, the guardian who pulls pranks and escapes, whose pronouns are she, her.
I'm Hallie, pronouns she, her. I play Sparky Malarkey, also she, her, the intuition who investigates and has a mascot suit.
So as you heard, we got a couple of new descriptors there because we did some advancement. We did some level up. What did we advance to? You'll have to listen or read on to find out. Essentially, yeah, we did a bunch of upgrades. As they come up, we'll talk about where they came from and what's going on, especially when the descriptors come up. I think that's a good time to be like, why does Sparky have a mascot suit? Where did this suit come from? What is it? We'll figure that out later. That being said, before we begin with our slice of life complications, during the end of campaign survey, one of our audience members, one of our fans, said that it would be really appreciated if we recorded our pre-session rolls. Specifically, Hallie gets to roll all 4 of her stats. Ari gets to roll loaded dice, which Kike gets to use later. And Ari, you have a new move this time that you want to decide each session, right?
I do, yes. So basically, it's called doubles. It's part of my opportunist playbook, I believe. I pick a number between 2 and 5. If I roll 2 of that number, it counts as a critical success. But then I also pick a number between 2 and 5. And if I roll 2 of that number, it counts as a critical failure. So I'm living on the edge here. And I'm gonna pick 2 as my critical success number. And I am gonna pick 5 as my critical failure number.
I appreciate that you didn't choose 2 numbers that were failures. You chose like a number that would normally give you a success for your critical failure and a number that would normally give you a failure for your critical success.
Yeah, I am living on dangerously here, and I might...
That's fun. I like that a lot.
I might definitely get them confused, but, you know. And now I am rolling my loaded die. And I rolled a 10.
I'm assuming not 2 5s.
No, it is not 2 5s. It is 6 and 4.
All right, so Ari's got a 10 to note. With loaded die, we always talk about what Kike did to set that up when the move becomes applicable, so we won't talk about that now. However, Sparky, I want you to roll your stats, Hallie.
Yeah.
And I want you to explain the spread. Like, why are Sparky's stats the way they are?
Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay. So the first stat, because I just rolled them left to right, was heart, and I rolled a 5, which gives me a +2 for that stat. And I feel like that is pretty self-explanatory, because she had some moments last time. I mean, time has passed since then, but at least last episode she had some moments. She's a lot more willing to reach out to the people in her life, not automatically think the worst, not be agonizingly annoying to Kike, and is just generally on a better path forward as far as, like, acknowledging her own emotions and growing as a person goes. All right, my second one was for books, and I rolled a 3, which gives me a solid 0. Sparky hasn't been reading. I don't know. It's just books. That's not where her focus is. You know, she's still trying to find her new heist board
mystery
conspiracy focus. She hasn't found something to replace the rutabagas yet.
Yeah.
Another 3 for fierce. That gives me a 0 for that. However, one of my advancements gave me a +1 to fierce, just like an automatic +1 to whatever wild card stat I rolled. So actually I have a 1 in fierce, Sparky's just a lot more willing to fight, but fight good, because she was always ready to throw down before, but like about things that didn't matter and in ways that aggravated people who were close to her. This is just like she's finally regaining the sense of purpose that she had lost all these years and was furiously trying to replicate. And then for Slick, I got a 2, which gives me a -1. She's just bad at Slick.
Okay. Sparky's feeling very heartfelt, not much else.
Not much else.
All right. Next part before we begin is each session, we do a slice of life complication where we create some sort of mundane thing that gets in the way of your character's lives. It's going to be actually very applicable this session because I have a lot of things that happen, but I don't really have any plot. So this is where that comes from. With that in mind, though, what are our ideas?
I have one for Irene, and it's like, you know how like sometimes when you do your laundry, sometimes it's only one sock that comes out and the other mysteriously disappear. Well, this time it may actually literally be happening to Irene. No matter how, many socks she washes, there's only one sock of each pair. Now, what would Irene do? Will she wear a mismatched pair of socks, or will she not wear socks? Or what will she do in this conundrum? Stay tuned. That is my slice of life complication for Irene.
Her socks keep missing, but just
a
one.
A single sock. So she has a lot of mismatched socks now.
Okay.
I have one, but it involves the World's Fair. Is that allowed?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. It's also for Irene. One of the little game stands has this adorable, large, stuffed Boidle rat. And your Boidle rat wants it so bad. She will not let you leave until you win this Boidle rat against this very obviously rigged carnival game.
That's beautiful.
Love it.
I love it so much.
I've got one for Kike.
Oh no.
I was gonna riot if you said Irene.
I genuinely wondered if there was going to be an Irene sweep this time.
No. I was aiming for Kike from the start.
Oh boy.
Kike, one of your old dead colleagues in quotation marks
Oh no.
in the field of chemistry has been trying to hand deliver you a response to a paper you published a very, very long time ago.
Oh no.
And is using the opportunity of the World's Fair to attempt to sort of take the stand during a symposium and talk about
No, please.
his comments on your old research.
More comments than questions.
Yes.
It's Flick, which is an alchemist who has been named previously.
Flick! Oh my god.
As someone that Kike was like, yeah, Flick's great.
Looks great.
In either case, it's a chemist. Not a chemist, an alchemist specifically. It's got to be one of the alchemists.
Absolutely.
And then Emily.
It's for Hilda. There's some ambiguous wording on the TSA website about something that she wants to bring, and she can't figure out if it's allowed or not.
This is a truly evil. Why would you say something like that?
Because it's my fear.
My shampoo might be a slightly larger than allowed bottle.
Oh no.
It might be 3.5 ounces.
Oh, oof, terrible.
Oh no.
What if the dead use a different system of weights and measurements too?
That they just do not warn you about on the TSA website.
I did, I'll mention it now because there was an easy way to put it in. They do use the metric system.
As they should.
And the day, month, year way of doing the calendar.
Oh my god, yes! Oh, that is so much better than how you do it! I hate the month, day, year.
Which is better. It is better, but it could frazzle, it could confuse a deeply frazzled 13-year-old. When you get into a fucking research rabbit hole and you end up somehow knowing less than you did going into it. Metric, well, maybe they're speaking in terms of Kelvin. Well, Hilda, this is not temperature, this is volume. But what if that's Hilda's heist board? Okay, so our complications are an old alchemist wants to hand deliver a response to Kike, or if he can, get up on the stage and do it himself. Hilda doesn't know how much stuff to put in. Irene, one sock keeps missing. Just one. And then Irene, there's an adorable stuffed Boidle rat at a game stand, and Boidle rat will refuse to let you not get it. What are we leaning out of these?
I'd like to change my vote, actually, to the chemistry paper guy.
Okay.
My vote is to the Boidle rat.
My vote is also to Boidle rat. It's so good.
I'm torn between the chemistry one and the Boidle rat one.
Both.
I've already got so many Kike characters.
All right, we don't have to do that.
I vote for the Boidle rat.
I mean, a chemistry person can approach Kike at any. That could be a running gag.
I feel like because there's already.
This can be the new coffee machine.
We never got the coffee machine though.
This could just be a fallback, like the coffee machine always is.
It could be.
So, what kind of game is this? We don't need to go into too much detail, but what kind of game is this that's being rigged?
Jarts.
Charts.
I was picturing the claw game, and it just keeps moving. Like maybe there's a magnet or something, or the opposite of a magnet.
What if it's just a bunch of them? You have to claw machine to get to a dart to throw into a balloon, which will then drop water to cause a hammer to go up and hit the.
It's a relay.
Rube Goldberg runs this machine.
Oh no!
I make all of my victims the Rubes. All right, I think we got it then. All right, we good. We good to begin for real?
Yes.
For real?
For real.
For real?
For real?
Yo, for real.
All right. We see the Earth. What a beautiful planet, Earth. The realm of the here, where the living are. From the Earth, we see a small desert town. It is near the end of summer. It has been a couple of months since last session, so we can see the steam rise, we can hear the hiss. Not many people are moving out, and we can smell the garbage of the junkyard, which is both cars and trash, and a trailer that looks at first to be just another piece of the junk, but you realize has like a van next to it and actually has some decorations up.
There's a flower box outside.
There's a flower box outside.
Yeah.
Are there like living things growing in it?
There's one.
But this junkyard isn't just a junkyard. It's also a graveyard. And in the middle of the junkyard slash graveyard slash Sparky's home, there's a mausoleum. Now this mausoleum is crappy. It's small, it's dinky. It seems like very few people go in and out of this mausoleum. But if we look inside of it, we can see that there is a staircase. We follow ourselves through the staircase, and inside of it, we see hallways every which way. A lot like catacombs or crypts, you know, just stonework going from place to place. If we followed one of the passageways, we would see another staircase leading to probably a much better mausoleum. Like, most mausoleums aren't in the middle of junkyards, ours just is. But deeper and deeper into the crypt, it looks less like a classic crypt and more like an airport. But not completely like an airport. So inside of this airport, for example, in crypts or catacombs, there's often like these walls of skulls. So we see a bunch of people standing in front of this wall of skulls, just bapping the heads and asking questions, which the skulls respond in kind, because this is the help center telling them where to go. There are other airport things as well, people moving back and forth. We see DSA, the Desk Security Administration agents, going from a series of metal detecting pearly gates. This is the DFW Intermortal Airport, also known as the Dallas-Fort Worth Intermortal Airport. A hellish series of loops from which there is no escape.
No, Kyle, why? Why would you do this?
Direct personal attack.
I've saved this for over a year.
Oh my god, no. Why? Oh, I hate that airport so much.
I describe all these things we see, but the big thing is something we hear. There's this inspiring orchestra music that's blaring from this tinny little TV screen on the wall. You see a series of dead and alive people smiling at the camera, and at the end they just say, "Welcome to the Hereafter."
Oh, I hate this.
Before the video loops again.
Oh, I hate it. A man gets hit by a horse. That's not a thing to make you feel alive.
He just turns into a ghost right there. And they're like, no, you can't just die. You have to go through the airport.
Yeah, to explain this for a second, many times that Arya's come into the United States of America, she has had to suffer through this one video with just no vocals at all, but this very patriotic, inspiring music that loops over and over and over again. So of course I added it to this world of whimsy and fantasy. This video is 7 minutes long.
Yeah.
But it's been looping for the past half hour.
Yeah.
As the four of you are awkwardly standing in a back room of the DFW Intermortal Airport. When you tried to go through security, you were quickly flagged, and all four of you were brought into this back room without much explanation.
Oh boy, oh no.
How are you responding to this? I'm gonna say there's no chairs either.
Oh, what?
Oh, there's no chairs?
Ow.
That's even worse.
I mean, I was furious before.
Quiet, uncomfortable fear.
We are going to be late.
Kike probably is just silently looking to see if he can find any papers or anything that might help with whatever this is and show it to the front.
Sparky is pacing and ranting.
Hilda is looking back and forth for exits and escapes, but do not exist.
There's one door, one table, a clock that you can't even read. You can only hear the droning tick, tick, tick. And then that TV on the wall, which flickers and tinnies, and for a second you think maybe you'll be free of the video, and then it starts up again.
You're never free of the video. A part of me is still watching that video to this day.
Bit of your soul remains in Dallas, Fort Worth.
My soul remains. Yeah.
In fact, the video breaks down once, and some repair guys come in, fix the TV, and then leave without saying anything else.
They don't respond to us at all.
Irene stomps her foot and knocks on, I don't know if there's like a little window in the door or something.
Yeah, we'll say there's a two-way window. Although you think it's a two-way window, in actuality, it's just very dirty. And so it's fogged over on both sides.
Ew.
If there's like a camera or something, Kike might like show the tickets to kind of be like, you know, we paid for this ticket and we're running late and we have all of the paperwork here. So
All right, roll take action.
Take action. Okay.
That is fierce.
Fierce. All right. Ooh, what's that? This is a 9.
Okay, it is a success. So you hear before you feel the gush of wind in the cromp. Dial it up! As this very mossy skeleton possum jumps into the air, seeing the tickets and thinking it's a toy.
No!
And tries to clomp down on it.
But I succeeded! Oh, I wanna move.
Boydle rat.
Dial it up!
Sit.
Boydle rat sits.
Not toy. Not toy.
And you can tell, Irene, that the only thing Boydle Rat got out of this was toy.
No!
And she starts going for it again.
Oh my god!
Can Hilda take out, like, I'm trying to think of something I would reasonably have with me. Hilda's gonna take out, like, a sandal and, like, dangle it as an alternate toy that is bigger and meatier.
Okay. I thought she was gonna hit it. I'm like, oh.
No! Boydle Rat turns. Tarlatype?
Booker lunges for the tickets.
No!
Booker, no!
Just all of you should control your Necromon.
I imagine the two of them holding their Necromon like dogs that are trying to go greet each other.
Tarlatype!
Raccoon!
This is a serious situation here. We might lose our flights.
Raccoon!
Irene's other Necromon just stand there disapproving.
Oi, cop. Oi, cop, boy, cop.
Booker poutily smacks the sandal with his little leg. Raccoon.
You're making me regret the decision of getting the same tickets for the same flight instead of having separate flights.
Well, My father said that I couldn't travel as an unaccompanied minor, even though I told him that I could.
I mean, the flight would be you kids and Sparky. I mean, I know I didn't trust Sparky.
Sparky's listening. In the background, she's just like shaking her fist at the TV that keeps playing the video over and over. And she's like, "You cowards! You can't detain someone without due cause. It's right in the law book," which I don't have with me because it's in my checked luggage, but it's in there. It's in there.
Yeah, we need some sort of reasoning as to why we're here, and we are gonna lose our flight, and you're gonna have to pay for a hotel room or for some other things.
People, there's no need to yell. I'm right here. Oh, wait a second. And behind the desk, you see a figure suddenly appear. A semi-translucent figure, a tired DSA agent with just a little mustache, who is a phantom. Each dead has their own traits and their own reason for coming into being based on how they died. Phantoms died unseen and unknown, and as a fact can turn themselves invisible. Sometimes it just happens.
He entered a very strange machine.
I was typing if it's his name Danny.
Danny Phantom, this is against the law, Danny.
Please, I understand that you're stressed, but let us keep it professional. My name is Dan, as you can see with my name card here. Only my friends and my partner may call me Danny, or at least that's what they would call me if I had them. So, and he pulls out a book and flips it over. I assume that you all know why you're being detained here.
No, sir.
Why would you assume that?
No,
based on everything that we have said and our
and we're
acting
going
life.
to be
These
late
two
to
are
our
children.
flight.
Kids, and I include Sparky in the kids.
Rude.
Hang on. So, sir, we do not know why we were detained here. So if you could please tell us this. Here are all of our documents. They're all in order, as you can see.
Thank you very much, sir. Well, you've done a couple of violations today, for example. And he points to you, Hilda, and says, "Too much shampoo." But the main issue here is that, as we can see, Miss, and he flips open a paper and starts looking through, Catherine Mueller, Sparky Malarkey, with the Catherine Mueller crossed out. Because out of character, I asked Hallie, would Sparky legally change her name? And Sparky said yes, but she'd be lazy about it. So we decided that Sparky wrote in Catherine Mueller, crossed it out, and wrote Sparky Malarkey. So her legal name is a crossed out Catherine Mueller and then Sparky Malarkey.
I did not realize this was going to be the issue at TSA, and I'm pissed.
Well, that actually isn't the issue, ma'am. Your
God.
peculiar name aside, we noticed that someone with that name was on our no-die list, which is a joke we made last arc, and I remembered.
Wait, what do you mean I'm on the no-die? What?
Yes, ma'am, we have a series of incidents here. I can read them out if you would like, but they mostly come down to unwarranted harassment.
Hang on. But why could she buy the ticket then? That seems like a fault on the system.
Well, if I understand correctly, based on my records and what you had just said a few moments prior, sir, you bought the tickets on everyone's behalf.
Well, yes, but I included her name and all of her document numbers and stuff.
Well, sir, I don't know how to answer for that. All I can say is that we have a bit of an issue here.
Is he holding the papers that have all my transgressions?
I'll just say it's on the table between them.
I'm gonna grab them and look through them.
Oh, that's gonna be another mark there, ma'am.
What, Parky? What?
The unwarranted harassment.
What? This was laying on. I didn't even grab it from you. It was laying on the table. Like, I would have grabbed it from you, to be clear, but you weren't holding them. They were on the table.
Threatening to do.
As I can see, right there on the
John,
table. Why do you put things on tables if you don't expect people to pick them up?
With the DSA agent. Have you ever flown before?
No, I'm on the no-die list, apparently.
Well, I can see that you don't argue with DSA agents. That's the first rule.
Oh, yeah, but they're being arguable. They're being Okay, how do you remove someone from the no-die list? You can't just say we have a problem and then just, like, not offer a solution.
Have you interacted with the Bureau of Intermortal Enforcement before, ma'am?
Yes, they propose bad solutions, but solutions nonetheless.
Well, sir, it seems here we have a little bit of an impasse, as people would call it, because we have a flight and it's gonna leave relatively soon, but, you know, how can we resolve this situation? She was able to buy the ticket, so...
That does reflect poorly on you.
Yeah, so, you know, is there a way that this could be resolved? I don't know, fine. It's not the best solution, I agree, you know, but...
Roll me convince somebody.
I am not out of character. I realize this sounds like a bribe. It's not a bribe.
Yeah, I don't know what stat to do with this. I don't know if I want, since you said it's not a bribe, I'm going to say books.
Time to slowly slide my allowance across the table to him.
That is a 7.
Okay, a mixed success. So your target is convinced mostly, so he will give you a solution. However, something is preventing Dan from giving you the solution. Dan will ask something in return. Dan will make one inconvenient misunderstanding, or Dan will be temporarily upset with you.
I like the maybe wanting something in return.
All right. Dan sits there and strokes his little mustache, and you can see some flakes of it fall off. Yeah, well, I can't really speak much about flights. I don't have the money. They don't pay me enough to go on flights in the airport. I can't even afford nice He looks at you, Hilda. You know, if some of that excess shampoo found its way to me...
Hilda's just going to hand over the entire bottle.
You can see the ends of the mustache curl up in a smile. But you're still late for your flight.
No!
Everybody roll me, take action.
No!
Oh boy.
Lucky for me, I roll with heart.
Kyle, can I take my list of transgressions with me as we run out of there?
Okay, just Hallie rolls me, take action. No. Hallie, roll me. Are you trying to just do it so he sees you, or are you trying to sneak it out?
I'm trying to sneak it out.
Roll me sneak.
Oh, that gives me the worst stat. Okay. Fuck! Kyle, I got a 6.
Do I want to use this here?
You save Sparky or let her suffer?
I'll save Sparky somehow. I'm thinking.
This is happening so early in the session.
How did you have things pre-planned out so that you were able to help Sparky get the book?
Oh, you were trying to get... What were you trying to do?
I was just as we leave and rush towards the plane, I'm grabbing the list of my transgressions so that I know what they have on me.
Oh, no, I thought you were just trying to book it to the plane.
I mean, I'm trying to do that also, but Kyle told me to roll a different stat, so I did that. Because I'm also trying to do that as I leave. So you probably should not waste this on me because I am being a dick.
Yeah, I think for this one I might not waste it. Sorry, Hallie.
Sparky, you go to leave, and Dan's hand just slams down on the book, and he looks at you with a now glorious mustache.
Oh, good for him.
And just shakes his head no.
Fine.
Next flight to Necropolis, please board Group 1. And Ari, you told me a year ago that you would translate that to the shitty Spanish. So, fun for you.
What did pass me say when what? That I would say this in shitty Spanish?
We were talking about the airport announcements, and you were like, oh yeah, there's this kind of like really weird formal Spanish they use.
Oh my god, yes, okay, I know what it is.
So, I wanted to include at least one, so we'll just say, next flight to Necropolis, boarding Group 1, please get on the coffin.
Atención pasajeros, pasajeros con el vuelo 2, 3, 4, con destino a Necrópolis, favor de abordar por la puerta 8.
And as that happens, people start boarding, but we notice a very cool teen roll their eyes at that just really weird formal Spanish. This teen is wearing like a black jacket, black leather jacket full of like rhinestones and other things. They've got long, thick black hair with like a couple of streaks in it, and they're watching as their 9.5-year-old little sister
She's so big.
runs around. There's this little like nervous pick, this nervous deer thing just bouncing around as this excitable 9.5-year-old girl chases it with her just metal as fuck, like in like a cool skull way.
Yeah.
Forearm cane. If you didn't know what Yunuin was like, you'd think the pick was scared. And it might be kind of like how all Chihuahuas are scared at all times, but it does seem to be a game.
Oh.
And as Kike, you and Hilda run up first, Ariel, with almost like a sixth sense, just turns to you and says, "¿Qué anda, tío?"
¿Qué hubo, Ariel? Are you ready to ride?
They look at Yunuin and confirm that Yunuin is out of sight just before turning to you and saying, "If it's anything like it's been so far, this whole trip is going to be un desmadre. So yeah, I'm ready."
Maybe, but it's still gonna be fun, right? Yeah, ¿Estás listo? You ready?
Ariel, because, you know, they're a senior now, dramatically flicks their hair backwards and not even looking at you, just kind of waves their hand while walking over to Yunuin and says, "Of course I am, Tio. Are you?"
Yeah, of course, yeah. You're gonna... I assume they have gone to Necropolis before,
Yeah,
right?
probably, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you know, I know you like Necropolis. It's pretty cool, so, you know... I'm excited for sure. I mean, you know, it's a fun place.
From your side, you just feel a little tugging.
Oh, ¿Qué hubo, la chaparrita? I am assuming that's Yunwen.
Yeah,
right?
she's nodding in excitement. Like, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah. You are? Oh, it's so great. There's so many, like, the food is amazing. Like, I know you also have gone a couple times, but, you know, it's great. The colors are fantastic. You're gonna have a great time. And, you know, your sibling here is gonna take good care of you in the plane. Right, Ariel? You are?
Ariel.
If there's anything you need, I usually sit with you guys, you know, but now I'm gonna be over there. So if there's, you know, in the other seats a little bit up front, but if you need anything, I can always go back unless there's a seatbelt on sign, in which case I can't. But I can still do it, you know, if there's sometimes it's there and it's not needed. Anyways.
Ariel walks back, and in response to you saying you're going to take care of Yunuin, you can see they're holding on to her forearm cane and hands it to her and says, "Yuna, got excited again. You gotta keep a hold of this." And then turns to you, Kike, and puts their hand on your shoulder. "It'll be fine."
Well, you know, if you need anything, as I say, just a couple seats. I can always go there. There's also the, you know the flight attendant button. That's the kind of universal button.
Tio. And they kind of put their head down and raise their eyebrows. "We're not the ones you have to worry about." And they look back, and you can see Sparky frantically trying to catch up to everyone else. And she has overtaken Irene, who has just started slowly walking a little bit more. Irene, you just ran a bit too fast early on, so now, like, you're feeling a little achy. Your head is pounding.
Yeah, you know what? This is probably why I've gotten more nervous lately. It's just...
These new friends have resulted in a direct spike of my non-existent blood pressure.
All right, let's get on the plane. So by plane, I mean coffin. You know how planes are just tubes that fly in the sky?
Planes are basically coffins,
yeah.
but big.
They're the same thing.
For lots of people.
They're the same thing.
The plane is basically just a big old coffin. There are windows. First class, which is Kike said he'd be in front, so I'm assuming Kike's in like the nicer, further up areas.
Yeah, not in. Well, I don't think in first class. He wouldn't pay a first class ticket for.
Okay.
You know, everybody, but not but not the super back.
I just assumed you were purchasing that for yourself.
And then the rest of us are in like...
You know what? Yes, correct. Kike purchase.
There are 3 areas. In the front, there's this really nice, kind of coffins, how they have unnecessary like padding and like pillows and stuff. It's like being inside of a Bed Bath & Beyond.
Aw.
In the middle, it's pretty nice. That's where Ariel and Yunuen are. And then the rest of you are in the back, where you could swear you see some just necro termites eating some of the wood.
Wow.
On just these bad wooden benches.
Speaking of necro termites, but not actually in any way, I want to try to recreate the list of my transgressions from memory. Like, I want to just get out my SmackBook Pro and I want to type down as many things as I can remember while it's fresh in my brain.
Okay.
I really appreciate that you used the necro termites as a segue.
I did.
Not having anything to do with
Because
it.
I was thinking, like, wood, paper, pencil, but no, I would just use my SmackBook Pro. There was a chain of thought, but it wasn't very good.
This feels very unhealthy, boss.
What I don't think is healthy is when organizations keep lists of things that people do wrong. And the wrong is in air quotes. I got a 9.
Okay, so you get to ask a simple question about the list of transgressions.
What's the worst item on that list?
Gotta think about this. You suddenly remember one of the first times you talked to Kike, you flat out chased him through security into the airport and had to be dragged out.
Oh, I already apologized to Kike for, like, so many things. Okay. See, my thought was, like, if there was anyone else that I egregiously upset, I was going to go about my own way to make amends, but I've already apologized to Kike. That's just another thing.
Oh, you upset all of DSA that day.
I'm not made of money, Kyle. I can't make up for DSA.
Anything else? As your pallbearer gets on and is like, "Hey everyone, it's me, pallbearer Nito. This is gonna be a 2-hour blight, a quick trip down the river Styx. Don't worry though, it's not one way. So looks like the temperature in Necropolis today is..." And he's just gonna do the thing that like pilots always do, where they say 5 times the number of words they need to do.
Yeah.
Anything else that you want to do before you make your way to Necropolis?
Kike's having a bit of a blast, on the front, having good food, trying to take a nap, but unable to because the blind attendant is always like, "Sir, do you need something? Sir, do you need something?" And it's like, "Please, I just want to sleep," except there's no dirt, so he can't truly sleep properly in here. But
they go back a little bit and you can't see who they're talking to, but Ariel just turns to the blight attendant and says, "Hey, I really thank you for looking after my TO like that. He just needs, a lot of support and
oh my god,
just checking in on him. It's real good." And it just a big shit-eating grin is on their face the whole time.
God damn it. Also, I just want to say that halfway through one of Kike's many attempts to take a nap, he will also remember that Sparky chased him to the airport and be like, "That's why."
Hilda puts in her noise-canceling headphones and listens to music while cuddling Booker for the majority of the flight. Sorry, the majority of the blight.
Is it like lo-fi, like that kind of music, or?
It's an eclectic playlist, which I say because my playlist is eclectic and shifts wildly between completely unrelated music.
I mean, same, honestly. Like, I can have peaceful instrumental and I have ska and I never know what's gonna come up next, so I totally get that.
Just a random list of things you've got. Like, you got some classic rock, you've got some modern, you got the duo, this really cheesy duo from like a couple of decades ago of Alucard and Dracula, Dracula's sons. And then like you even got some music, if it's all right that I'm just kind of throwing some ideas.
Sure.
You even got some music that's in other languages, You got a couple of anime themes.
Only a couple.
You've got a couple of songs from like Mexican pop idols, like this flower-based one called Sochi. Just a whole bunch of music going around.
Yes.
All right, anything else?
Irene's just fidgeting in her seat uncomfortably.
Are there windows in this coffin?
Yes.
Okay, Pokio spends the entire trip flush against the window, staring out, like some children do on planes.
Malaya does not like being in this confined space because I assume that there's like, seatbelt requirements, and Malaya is not best pleased by having a seatbelt around him.
It's him and it.
Around it. So He is trying to like, Malea!
Okay, so everyone can feel as the coffin kind of sinks down a bit until eventually settling on what doesn't feel like solid ground, because it's water. Pokio, from the outside, you can see hundreds of rivers coursing through this ethereal, colorful space. On them, a series of coffins, most of them pretty big like this one, but a couple of small private coffins zip down these rivers. The rivers all seem to be moving to and from the same destination. Sometimes they'll move off, and you'll see that the ethereal lights turn into foggy representations of what seem to be other spaces. So like what looks like a future dystopian nighttime city, a beautiful castle, a realm that is only Batman's. Actually, that was the dystopian city. But you notice that the rivers, when they veer towards those, there's always these artificial barriers that seem to be pushing them back away from it. So none of the rivers ever reach that destination.
That's wonder.
You go down the river, and after a few hours, the hazy ethereal lights that seem to point to all these other places give way to a single strong unifying light in front of you, as a hazy vision turns into a very bright, clear headache. Everyone, welcome to Necropolis. Well, hello there, passengers. Before we go on our blight today, yes, that's blight, not flight, we have a couple of announcements for you today. So, welcome to the Siren in the Dead City Part 1 out of 3. I personally like to consider this episode kind of the prologue, the world-building prologue to the adventure. But if I labeled it as the prologue, the naming structure would be the Siren in the Dead City Prologue, and then the Siren in the Dead City, and then the Siren in the Dead City Part 2. And I just thought that's way too confusing. In either case, I hope you're enjoying the episode. I hope you're enjoying us coming back to full-time episodes as much as I am. And I'm enjoying it so much that I want to get you right back into the action. So I got just one super quick, super important announcement today. Later in the episode, you're going to hear us mention a place called Die Hop. Die Hop is a place we created in an exercise that I made for Under the Neighborhood that basically lets you create a thing like a Mystery Shack from Gravity Falls or Owl House from the Owl House, just a solid base of operations of sorts. Armed with that knowledge that we already made a place called Die Hop, you should be able to follow the story completely fine. However, if you'd like to hear what the creation process for Die Hop was like, because we did it all improvised at the beginning of the session, you can check our link below or just go to patreon.com/questfriends for a free public post that's like an additional 20-some minutes of audio of us creating that place. And I think it's just really fun behind-the-scenes audio. So finish this episode first, but if after that you're still hankering for a little bit more, you can check the description for that. As I promised, that's it. Our next episode, The Siren in the Dead City, Part 2, will be coming to you in 2 weeks on Monday, December 4th. But if you'd like additional content before then, you can find short stories, behind-the-scenes insights, and some extra audio over at patreon.com/questfriends. I'll see you there. Necropolis is a sprawling, haphazard city with a whole variety of buildings. And by sprawling, I mean sprawling. We're talking dozens, hundreds of miles wide. The skyscrapers near the center, although there really isn't a center, go for miles up, and even on top of some of them, you can see that they're so tall that there are little tiny cities built on top of them. Honestly, they make the Scuba Core space scraper look 1 story tall by comparison. You don't know what time of day it is because the lights from the city are so bright that it looks like it's daytime, but in a really artificial way. This light goes up, and in the sky, there's almost this eternal rainbow as the light hits this network of rivers that are going into the city from above, because they're floating rivers. Down on the ground, you see a bunch of tiny little love bug VWs and Model T cars zipping around in a bunch of haphazard ways. Like, some of them are just stopping and then going again. They're cutting each other off. But in addition to these cars going through this interlocking highway and all the lights and all the skyscrapers, you see 5 more things. Before we get in Necropolis, I want to do the paint the scene mechanic. The paint the scene mechanic is one where you come up with a detail based on a prompt. And in our case, I want you to come up with, super quick, just a couple of sentences, a district of Necropolis. Something that shows how alive and dead it is. I'll say this is less of a district and more of a building, but in one of the, many districts with a lot of skyscrapers, there's one building that goes above the rest of this. It is a giant courthouse with a colossal clock tower that, even in the brightness of the city, seems to shadow most of Necropolis. This is the Bureau of Intermortal Office, headquarters, or courthouse, or whatever you want to call it. When it was introduced last arc, it was a dinky little building that looked really big on the inside. This building actually looks as big as the inside of that building felt. So there's just a big old courthouse with a big old clock tower, because Byte sucks. And notably, I want to point out, this is the same courthouse as you went to last arc. Kinda? All of Byte's exteriors, which are all over the here and the hereafter, lead to the same interior. This particular exterior is just so large because Necropolis houses 99% of the Hereafter's residents. It's a big city. Anyway, that's my district. What does everyone else got?
I have one.
Okay.
One district is full of residential buildings, a mix of apartment towers and smaller, 1 to 2 story buildings, and little shops and businesses around the area. But it's called the Gardens of Adonis because it's known for its regular festivals involving amateur gardening.
Ooh.
And the celebration of the ephemeral nature of plant life. And so everyone puts out little potted plants of literally any variety out on their rooftops and just experiments with them. No knowledge required. They just experiment with taking care of plant on a very accelerated time scale as they wither away in the ever-present light.
I love it.
I guess there is a cultural district where basically there's a little square outside plaza, but around it there are a lot of museums. There's a past and present, or I don't know if living and dead history museum, something like that. There's a big cultural museum, and then close by to there is a diamond pyramid. Nobody knows exactly where it comes from. It is crystal, and some people can just go. It's transparent. Actually, that's the shape of the museum. It's a diamond pyramid, and then you can go and see the different exhibits and stuff. And there's other museums and other houses and things that are this was the house of this person.
If it's all right if I add a detail to yours.
Yeah. I'm trying to base it off the center of Mexico City. That's the vibe, the Zócalo. I'm trying to base it on that.
I like it. I'm gonna say, since you added museums and you added something that could be a diamond or could be a pyramid, depending on the way you look at it.
Yeah.
The biggest art museum in Necropolis, the RMS Titanic, is actually rubbed against the Diamond Museum, brushing against an iceberg. So it's just kind of up next to that museum, and so they're sister museums representing life and death.
So is the iceberg the diamond pyramid?
Yes, in this world, they were so confused they couldn't tell if it was a diamond or a pyramid. and so they couldn't avoid it in time, and that's why the Titanic sank.
Titanic.
I was thinking of like a district based around a university.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So we'll call this, since I actually have a university, if that's okay.
Yeah.
This will be the schoolyard. Schoolyard.
Oh, that's right. Schoolyard.
Scullyard. We'll call it Scullyard because it sounds like schoolyard otherwise.
I love it.
Yeah, it's Juilliard, but Skull, everyone can thank Ari for that name. Scullyard.
This is exquisite, multi-layered.
I forgot. There's so many things that I planned eons ago and forgot. My life was truly different.
It's one of those like sprawling, there's the campus and then there's like a convention center where they don't have any food open for some reason except one place, but the cook went home already and so you can't get hot food and Sparky Malarkey might go on a misadventure.
They just leave in the middle of the rush. They just go.
I know that like Necropolis is, you know, a combined thing and not based on a specific place, but Mexico City does have a big university city that it's called University City because it's so big. So,
funnily enough, right on the outskirts of this, that's where Die Hop is. And then Hallie.
So, piggybacking a little bit off of Ari with a cultural district, there are two households, both alike in dignity.
oh no.
In Fair Theater District, where we lay our scene from ancient grudge break to new mutiny. And it's just Willie Shakespeare versus every other playwright who has ever existed. Because he tends to take over the theater district, and it's just like the Globe versus other theaters that have been built by the residents of Necropolis. And there's a special VIP section in one of the theaters. It's a booth, and it's called the John Wilkes booth.
No. Hallie, why?
We can cut that.
Hallie.
I just thought it was funny.
Why?
Abraham Lincoln and John Wilkes Booth are best friends, and they go to the theater every night.
Hallie, no.
That's the end of Romeo and Juliet.
I feel, no, that's worse. That's worse.
Yeah, I'll keep the John Wilkes Booth. I'm X-carding Lincoln being friends with a man who shot him.
Because he ended too much slavery.
Because he ended too much slavery.
I forgot why the Civil War happened.
Hallie, no.
I forgot it was about slavery. I thought he just really didn't like Abraham Lincoln. That's been...
Why will the South rise again, Hallie?
Like, no, that's not what I want. I just want William Shakespeare throwing hands with everybody else into whimsical VIP section.
Yeah, he's throwing hands with everyone else.
Okay.
And I could even have him throwing hands with John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah, but she just keeps trying to assassinate people during plays.
John Wilkes Booth is like the cockroach of the theater world. He keeps appearing.
Nobody likes him.
Everyone asks him to leave.
I'm sorry.
And then he keeps breaking his leg and running off.
One of the really huge problems, too, for Willie is that he's already got an unwanted tenant in the Phantom of the Opera.
Yes. An actual real phantom.
all right.
Kyle groaning.
All right, but this is deeply important. Who is the angel of music down here? Is this a position that is passed around, or is there a literal angel of music that haunts this district as well?
If it's an angel of music, is it just a wheel of eye?
Yes!
It's the biblically accurate angel of music.
Yeah, it's the Wheel of Eyes, but everyone calls it the Wheel of Ice because it's so frosty and mean.
And they are the prima donna of the operas in the theater.
The Phantom is in love with this angel.
Also, I know this is like building a lot of lore that may not come up, but he hates everybody, Willie Shakespeare, but specifically there's this feud with Cervantes, the guy who wrote Don Quixote, because there's this weird paradox where they died at the same time, except not really, except they did. And it's like, it's just always a point of contention, which is actually true. They died at the same time, except they didn't, because the calendars were different, and it always trips me up.
This is my death day. It's like having the same birthday as somebody.
Yeah. They're fighting on their death day, even though it wasn't actually technically the same, but it was. It's just different. Yeah.
So we have the Bite headquarters. We have a square plaza with a bunch of museums, including the Titanic and the Diamond Pyramid. we have the theater district that Willie Shakespeare just keeps taking over.
He's like the president of the homeowners association, but for theaters.
We've got Skullyard, which is big university, and then we have a place with a bunch of plants, the Gardens of Adonis, which has a lot of flower festivals. One of these is a lot more chill than the rest.
Listen.
Willie Shakespeare's taking over. Diamond pyramids. Fucking Skullyard. Some flowers.
Plants.
I made a nice place that exists in a city where people can live in. It's a reference both to an ancient Greek festival and to a David Graeber book.
I like it. I want to make it clear. I like the Gardens of Adonis.
The Gardens of the Galaxy, sorry. Sorry.
Okay, last question. In which of these districts is fucking Die Hop? I forgot the name for a second.
I lean towards my own because it feels like the place where a weird failed bookstore turned breakfast place would be.
Okay.
That's actually a fair point.
True.
But I will gladly concede if people have another vision for this.
My only hesitancy is that I do feel like it would be a great place for drunk college students to go at 2 a.m.
It does feel like a college.
So that is my only reservation with that, is that it does sound like a place that drunk college students would go at 2 a.m.
I can't argue with that.
I'm honestly torn between Tom's and Emily's, and my vote would be casted equally between both. Because like at first it was gonna be the university, then Tom said his thing, and I was like, that's a good point. Then Emily said their thing. So Hallie, you're the...
Well, mine is the same. Mine's opinion is the same as Ari's.
God damn it.
I think I lean more towards university only because we wanted it to be a public place, and it's still public if it's in Tom's cute residential area, but that's a nicer residential area where I feel like we would get better, more reasonable clientele we run into, as opposed to the chaos of being near a university center.
That's true.
Also, you said it was probably gonna be on the edge of the university area, so then maybe the university and the residential are just nearby.
Oh no.
Maybe it's just right between them, you know?
God, don't do this to me.
It's just right between them.
Location, give us a better sense of place. It's at the edge of a district, yes.
Yeah.
Make a map.
It's on the edge. It's right. It's
Make a map.
Do it, Kyle.
You're welcome, Kyle.
Okay. It's in the middle of the districts. So we've got in the center of the city, we've got the square plaza with the museums. We've got the theater district someplace. And then we've got Skullyard, which is right next to a cute residential district. And the only thing fusing them together is a single shitty Die Hop.
Yeah.
But also the World's Fair. Okay, so we've thought about all of the districts. We've seen them all as our little river has taken our coffin all the way down into another theirport, which we're going to say looks pretty much the same as it does in the realm of the living, but a lot more lights. Are you going to take like public transportation? You're going to take one of the catacombs?
Oh my god! I forgot about the catacombs.
Or Kike, are you going to drive everyone?
I mean, the traffic, it's I assume it's pretty not great, but...
Public transport.
Oh god, I don't know.
Embrace it, car bad, train good.
Oh, I mean,
catacombs are cars. They're just vans. They're like tiny little buses.
Oh no,
Yeah.
Is this the Elon Musk loop?
No, combis are a thing in Mexico, right? They're little...
Yeah, they're like a tiny bus. They're like vans.
Oh.
But they're very small.
Oh, it's a bus. Never mind. I misunderstood completely.
They're a bus.
Yeah, they're tiny buses.
When you said comb bee, I was like, oh, it's like a little bee that goes through a catacomb.
Oh my god.
I was like, it's a subway, obviously. I misunderstood completely.
I assume there's also a subway. We have subways in Mexico City. They're not great. They catch on fire. I wouldn't recommend going on the. I wouldn't. They're bad. It's bad.
Do you want to deal with the streets or the fires?
If the kids pressure people into going into the catacombs, then Kike would cave. Otherwise, he would insist driving.
Hilda's just excited to see a catacomb bee. She wants to know.
Okay, let's go to the catacombs. Fine.
Unit races ahead of everybody else.
Let's go to the catacombs and just, past up and get into the tiny buses.
Door opens up super fast. You see a wide-eyed woman with red hair open the door and she stares at you. Where are we going today, class?
Is this Miss Frizzle?
Yeah, this is why I would rather drive, but it's okay. This is where we are now.
Please let this be a normal commute.
Dun, dun. Door shuts and the frizz speeds
There
off.
she goes.
Oh, I don't want to go to space again.
All right, so this woman, who is Miss Frizzle from the Magic School Bus, she found new work. Drives you all to...
How did she die?
Did she go to space again?
You briefly go to dead space.
No, we don't want to go to dead
no,
space.
No, we don't want to go to dead space.
Kyle, why?
Is that just how she died? We don't want to go to dead space.
That franchise has been dead for years.
Don't make us go there.
Don't bring it back. I mean, I guess it has come back, but no.
Okay, so I just want you all to know that if you had health, you would lose probably about 5 points of health right now.
Oh, God.
Luckily, this is a system without health. So after a very fast and very harrowing ride, Yunuin fucking loved it. Ari mentioned that if you took the subways, you'd be on fire. Unfortunately, Yunuin's pick did in fact freak out and did catch on fire.
Oh no!
So there was fire regardless.
Oh no!
You zip through. We're gonna say the catacomb door opens, and we just see there's just a plume of smoke coming out as the four of you, as well as Yunuin and Ariel, stumble out with like the scorched brows, cartoon look, hair standing on end.
Hey, where'd you learn to drive like that? Because it was awesome.
Welcome to Necropolis, gang! He's not gonna say gang, just welcome to Necropolis!
That was kind of fun.
That was not fun.
It is just as cool down here as I thought.
I'm with you here, kid. This is why I wanted to drive. It's less hectic, it's less chaotic, but if you want to experience the Necropolis, this is the full way to experience it.
Oh, yeah.
Irene is, if you'll pardon the pun, pale as death.
Hey.
Kike is also pale as death. That's because he's always... That's just because he's a skeleton.
Oh my god.
I was serious though. I want to make friends with the Frizz.
Just Hallie, give me roll plus heart.
Yes, that's my good stat today. Oh, I got a 6, so that sucks with my +2.
Take 1 AP.
Yay! Guys, I have so much AP. Oh, what am I going to use it for?
She is so distracted, you almost get run over.
Kike's trying to grab Sparky. And then tries.
I was getting through to her.
That was getting through to you, literally. I mean, do you want to stay here, Sparky?
I mean, for
do you like this so much?
a day, I don't know. No. And she fixes her jacket as if nothing has happened, and then says, thanks, and then continues on.
Kike's gonna just actually pretty pleased and surprised that she said thanks, and just say, you're welcome. Sparky, I assume, already has walked off, but he's pretty pleased with that and say you're welcome.
She's moseying down. She's too embarrassed to hang around after saying thanks.
Yeah, she has walked in to the World's Fair. What's the World's Fair? What deathly delights does it hold? And how will this trip continue our players' march towards the end of the world? We'll learn all about that next time. All right, well, Hallie, repeat that. Are you recording?
Yeah, for real.
Ari, are you recording?
For real? I try to make it real.
For real? Tom, are you recording?
For real.
All right. Emily, say something to confirm that we're recording.
Something to confirm that we're recording.
For real?
For real.
For some reason, I wrote that you all chose Boidle Rat as Boidle Rat Gang, and I don't know why I wrote Boidle Rat Gang.
The Boidle Rat Pack!
We are the Boidle Rat Pack.
We're the Boidle Rats.
All of the Necromon, the Boidle Rat Pack, will help Boidle Rat to get this plush toy.
Oh my god, you're learning to be friends.
Necromon side adventure.
I turned everyone from a +1 friendship to a +2 friendship on Hilda's sheet. Everybody got worked up.
I bumped up Sparky to 0.
I bumped up Irene to 0.
I bumped up Sparky to 0 as well.
Yeah!
The kids are at +1 now. Both kids are at +1.
0s and 2s. Hilda remained a +1, but Kike got bumped up to +1 because we had a moment. But it's really funny that Sparky's only at 0 for Kike.
Oh, yeah.
You can actually see there's a park, like Central Park in New York, except this massive sprawling park is full of trees that go all the way up to the canopy. It's the rainforest. I'm going to cut that. I just wanted to make that joke.
I was debating whether to X-card it.
Oh, no. I want to X-card that. I took a minute to get it.
I put in my notes, if Kike wants a Christmas tree, does he have to burn it for it to appear in his necropolis house? This is why I prematurely killed all the animals, because this is where my brain goes.
Are all of the animals in necropolis?
Damn it, Tom. I don't want to give John Wilkes Booth a Netflix special.
I know.
But you're right. You're right. He would be on all of those Silenced with John Wilkes Booth.
We've had so many X-cards in this episode already. What?
This always happens after, like, a break. We just come back incredibly chaotic. My microphone is going flaccid.
Oh, no.
That was the worst way to describe that.
An understandable problem.
That was a terrible word choice.
The best way to describe it.
Garbage.
Why? There it goes.
It's just
There it
slowly
Just
sinking.
tie it. Tighten it.
It is tightened.
Many people struggle with this problem. It's understandable.